I don't know, in the bar again, hanging out. Just going to make a few coffees this morning with Ben, and got a few little hot topics to talk about. We've got a new little grinder on the bar here. We'll talk about the US and our shipping, because we've got some really cool stuff there. And yeah, just hanging out, making coffee. So if you've got a question of any sort, anything coffee, pop it down below. Ryan's behind the camera, and he will answer that for you for sure. So yeah, looking forward to hanging out with you for the next half hour or so. Anyway, keep the questions rolling in, and we'll keep chugging away through them all. So one thing I need to do, which is really weird, just give me 1 second. Hey, Ben.
Yep.
Sorry. Can you make up some 500 fixes for us, mate? Thank you. Been selling lots of beans. Lots of beans. It's the end of the holidays here. So we've had a big long run of school holidays. Then we have Easter, and then backed up with what we have is an Anzac holiday, public holiday. So there's been these really short weeks, a lot of people around, so many people coming in who are travelling on their holiday breaks and saying g'day. So thanks very much everyone popping in and saying hello in those times. We love seeing you, we love meeting you. It was good to connect with a lot of our followers and travellers. So thanks for popping in, appreciate it. Hope you enjoy the coffee you bought, because a lot of people bought bags of coffee, which is fantastic. So yeah, the team here, we decided to open up as much as we could, and yeah, everyone really had a great experience. So thanks very much for your support, really appreciate it. We're just going to make a couple of coffees here. What have you got first, mate? We'll make one for Ryan behind the camera.
Yep.
What's this one here?
A flat white for Jack.
Yep. Cool, cool. I'll grab the milk there. Maybe grab a skim out for us as well. That's it. Good stuff. And Ryan's going to have a dine in, it looks like it. So just on our cups here in the takeaway side of things, we do write everything on the cup. It's the one thing that goes all the way through from the customer order. So you can see there, flat white, 1 sugar, and the name Jack. Pop names on cups. It allows you to communicate with your customer really easily. So that's it's good fun, good outcome. Thank you. I was wondering where they could move a little bit better. All right. That's not shutting off. For some reason that's sticking on.
Yeah, we're live right now.
So a little flat white here. There you go.
Did you hear about the specialty coffee exhibition held in Houston this past week?
Oh, I did hear about the specialty coffee in Houston. Jack. 1 sec, everyone. There you go, Jack. Have a cracking day, mate. Oi, sorry. Yes, I did hear about that, actually. I saw a little bit of stuff on some socials. This is a little Ryan Latte. Yeah, we're interested to start looking and seeing what's happening in the US market. Obviously, we've been talking about shipping to the US, which is, I'm going to come back on that one, but definitely understanding where are the best places. And it seems like Houston, my understanding, is not far from Dallas. You can correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, but you know, I'm very new to the US and locations, but certainly a lot of people are there, and it could be a good base for us to have some connections for coffee. So I think, yeah, I think we'll have to look to go to some of these. I want to go to the Seattle coffee show, there's the Houston one, and yeah, I think all around there's definitely a lot of good opportunities for us to start connecting a bit more in the States. So we'll, yeah, keep our eye out on those things as well. I'm finding more and more I have to concentrate on pouring. There you go. Little Rosetta there for Mr. Ryan. Woo! Beautiful. Enjoy, sir.
Thanks, mate.
No worries. All right, what have we got there, mate?
2 cappuccinos, 1 sugar.
Yep.
There was an early question there about the Swan, Luke.
Oh,
What's your initial thoughts on the Swan?
Yeah, the Swan. We're going to dive a bit deeper on the Swan. It isn't in the end of the bar there, if you've been able to see that. That's a bit of a hot topic at the moment. This week, all going well, we've got to do a few little edits, but that'll be the video that we'll have out this week. I'm going to do that for a cap. Yeah, look, it's got a lot of different stuff to it, that's for sure. I'm going to actually dial it in. So I want to have a good play with it this morning and just see what we can do. because we have got it on the bar here, but essentially it's a different grinder. The taste profile is different, the outcomes are different, the recipes are different, and that's something I wanted to play with everyone today. So we'll go and show you that a little bit more in a sec. That's the cap with one, mate, and the other one's to come. There you go, Benny. Come on, show us up. What do you got? Show us your pattern.
I'm just gonna do a basic tulip.
Nice. Well done. Nice and symmetrical, good stuff. Oh, with a dot on the end.
I
Oh,
like doing a little bit of a dot sometimes.
well, you know,
I know I shouldn't.
that dot will
Will be the end of it.
will be the end of you. Yeah. Technically, wouldn't put a dot at the bottom of a tulip.
No.
Thank you, guys.
Cheers, mate.
Thank
Have
you.
a good one. The way to do that would be put another, do another one.
Do
Make it
another
instead of a 4 stack, put it at a 5 stack. Take a breath at the end, let it fill right up, then pull through.
I can do an 8 stack.
You can do an 8 stack.
Yep.
Beautiful. Maybe we have a little contest later, eh? If we've got to
Yeah,
do that.
That sounds great.
I think last time we had this chat, I did a 7 stack in a piccolo.
In a
So
piccolo, so yeah.
so we'll see. We'll see how that comes out.
Hey, look,
Yeah.
Russell Hasaka said, I received my coffee, the fix, from you guys in
Yes.
about 10 days from when I placed the order. It arrived in good condition by FedEx. I'm in LA. So
Brilliant. Thank you so much for the feedback. We appreciate it. Yeah, look, we're finding those days are pretty good. Between 7 and 10 days. FedEx definitely seems to be the courier. Australia Post seems to be a little bit tricky there. We had a few parcels being lost around the main delivery centre. I can't remember where it was now. They got stuck there for about 3 days, which is a bit disappointing, obviously. But hey, look, thanks everyone who filled out the survey. We definitely got a lot of feedback, so I really appreciate that. About what your expectations are from us. Look, the reality is it's expensive for us to send freight overseas. We aren't sitting in Australia in terms of our coffee price as a cheap product. I'll be honest. You can buy cheaper beans everywhere. But we don't want to play in that market. We're a specialty coffee roaster. We get specialty beans. We don't have any Robusta, and we take a lot of time and care in the product that we produce. So for us to compete on a cheap level into the States is definitely not our goal at all. But we want to make sure we give good value, good service to yourselves or whoever's buying our product. So we probably won't be the cheapest. It's going to be that 7 to 10 day odd time to get the product to you. But from a cafe perspective, we want to use coffee starting from 10, maybe 14 days. So it's arriving at the perfect time to really enjoy a great quality product. So we're really happy with that, and think that's going to be a good outcome. And we're going to try and keep the price down as much as we can. Hopefully no tariffs. If we can keep away from that, that'd be great. But at the moment, it's not happening. But yeah, we've definitely reduced our margins a lot to make sure we can offer this. We're subsidising the freight a huge amount there. But we're keeping an eye on what's happening in the local market. You know, we know that roasters can deliver in the States locally and have a cheaper postage rates, and they have more margin in there. So we're really subsidising that as much as we can to try and match that amount that you would pay locally, and yeah, basically get you our coffee as quick as we can. So it's really good to hear. Look, on that note, look, we've had the date set for us in our minds of when we wanted to launch to the US. Now, Jay in the background's been hammering away, doing a lot of great stuff, and we know that we do have our own site ready to go. It's artisticoffee.com, I believe, for the US.com. Pretty sure it is artisticoffee.com. We'll leave a link down below, and that's servicing Canada and the US. So I know Jay has that ready to go. In terms of us doing marketing around that, we aren't ready to go. You know, we haven't really got some back-end ads made to say, hey, have Australian coffee in the US. But essentially, you know, if you're listening or watching here, you can jump onto that store and enjoy the two options of coffee sizes we have. We have the 2 pound and the 12 ounce bags. We're just sticking with whole bean at the moment. It'll travel better and be a better outcome. If we do a ground option, it really just vacuums up once it goes up in the air and it doesn't look as a great product to you. It's going to ideally through FedEx, and yeah, we're going to keep, because we roast 2 times a week, we'll try and either make that shipping align with those fresh roasts. So we roast on Mondays and Fridays at the moment, and sometimes Tuesdays. So we want to only dispatch on those days overseas, so it's roasted that day, packed for you and shipped. So you're pretty excited about that. So we certainly appreciate the people that have already placed some orders. Since I last spoke to you and mentioned this, we've had quite a few people jump on and place some orders, and great to hear the feedback like we got before. So yeah, really excited about that, and we want to keep hearing the feedback. So if you know, if we do have, you know, you get an email after you have purchased some products for us. You know, give us the chance to hear if there's a challenge, so we can work on it, because we want to do that, and we'll obviously look after you for that. But if you're loving the coffee, give us some positive love. Love to see some great reviews from the international audience. So I've got a latte here and a flat white phone orders. So yeah, essentially, maybe not today. Tomorrow would be good. Tomorrow place some orders and we'll roast fresh and ship that out on Friday. So the tricky part we've got to get used to is when your day is versus our day. So that's our Friday, our Monday are the days. But we're also aware though, if we push it to the Friday, it'll go straight into our weekend, and that might slow down the postage. So we're just trying to think about those things a little bit as well. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. You can buy it on artisticoffee.com. Also, we've got some merch on there, I believe, as well.
Back to the Swan grinder, Luke.
Yeah, back to the Swan grinder.
So Nicholas Taylor, that asked you what your thoughts were about it before.
Yep.
He said that he's had it in their bar for about a year now.
Yep.
And the more I use it, the more I don't enjoy it.
Oh, you don't enjoy it?
So I'd be curious to know, some more details about that. What your your
okay,
take is on it.
All right, that's an interesting, bold statement. I'll take that head on. Look, it's a different grinder. There is no doubt about it. Look, let's dive into this one. Let me go a bit round here. Nicholas, I think it was. Let me just go a little bit in depth first to give people a bit of an intro to the Swan. So that video will come up this week. Now, it is a whole new concept of a grinder. Well, I'm just trying to get us a good little spot there. There we go. It's a whole new grinder, okay? They've really reinvented the wheel. It's been around for a long time. I think 2007, pretty much when they started to build this grinder, I believe. But a grinder like this basically has to have an electric motor that's spinning with a burr set attached to that inner core of that motor that's spinning. And you can see that the design has to be quite tall and high, and then you've got a chute which that coffee has to go out through. What the Swan has done is basically they've put the motor at the back, and then they've done a drive belt system up to the burrs. And this is an 83mm conical burr set, and basically the inner burr set isn't attached to the drive shaft of the motor, as you'd see in typical grinders. What they've done is they're moving the outer burr, and basically by moving the outer burr, as it grinds, the grinds will just fall straight down. So that is really cool. We're basically fixing a lot of issues with grinders there. We're taking the heat away from the motor, so it's at the back, so it's not being put straight into the beans as it would be here. Heat rises, goes straight up into your beans. That's an interesting one. And then we've got the conical burr set by a belt drive. What they've done, they've managed to really tweak that type of motor. So it doesn't have to run high speeds like a flat burr grinder here. It can run at low RPMs, and essentially they can control how much it actually moves. So instead of it being a time-based grinder, it's actually how many revolutions of that outer burr set is how much dose you will get from here. So if you're seeing on the front here, 14.4 grams in dose 1, that is 14.4 revolutions of that burr set. And they know that by each revolution, essentially you're going to get an exact dose down into your portafilter. So it's really cool. And you can just basically change that per revolution. So the way I like to think about it and explain it is if you've got your salt and pepper grinders and you just sort of do a little tweak, 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 you know you're getting a little bit of grind, a little bit of salt or pepper into your meal. So that's how it basically works. Ben, you want to just grab this guy here, and I'm just going to come back over here. So that's essentially how it works. Now, when that falls down into your portafilter handle, okay, so a lot of grinders have a chute that essentially have to then push that grind through the chute. And there might be an anti-clumping device or something like that in there to stop that from being a clumpy mess in your portafilter handle. Excuse me while I make some coffee. So I've got a flatty here with 2 sugars. Just in these bigger sizes, this is a 16 ounce. We do our full double shot. And then we do a split shot.
So you're going to be a bit late. Yeah.
Bree calling in sick live on YouTube.
No,
No.
she's just around the corner, but there's traffic, so there may be a car accident.
Oh, car accident down the end of the road. Oh, that happens, unfortunately. It's a terrible intersection up there. Well, Bree will be with us soon. So, yeah, going back to the grinder. Yeah, the burrs, the grind goes straight in. And because it's falling straight down, there is some sort of static attached to that. So to remove that static, they have what's called an ionizing ring. It's quite a big round ring that spins, and a couple little fins on there just to clean up any of the grind. But it is adding positive and negative ions onto that grind. So when it comes out, it doesn't have static, it doesn't stick together, doesn't clump, and it's super, super fluffy. Now, that is an interesting thing because everything we do with other grinders, we have all these other tools like WDTs and NCDs and distributors to essentially separate the clumps or work with that clumping that we get from a grinder. But if you've got a grinder that has none of that, it just is super fluffy. Now that extraction is going to rapidly change. So if you have ever had a grinder and you've done some shots and then you've gone and used a WDT and haven't changed your grind, hasn't changed your dose or anything like that, you will notice that the extraction time will go faster. You've eliminated all the blockages and essentially you're going to process coffee a lot quicker. So you would have to change your grind to do so. Cheers mate, big flat white. Yep. Yeah, Byron's still here for sure, yeah. Have you got your machine with you now? Or okay, all right. 8:20. Is Rory should be here? He gets here at 8, doesn't he? Or what time does he start? Should be here, not here. Okay. Rory normally knows all about that. Have you ever booked in a machine at all before? Or do you want to just randomly, I know this sounds, sorry, 1 second. Bree's just rung and said that there's a issue.
He might be caught up.
Issue up there. He's probably caught up. Did you get through in traffic or get caught up there?
No, I didn't get caught up at all.
Yeah, okay. Maybe he's caught in that traffic up there. The other way. Oh, okay. He's probably, one of our other staff members just rang and said they're caught in traffic here. There might be an accident at the end of the road. He's on a motorbike. Hopefully it's not him. Yeah. Do you want a coffee or something?
Oh, yeah, I'd love a coffee.
Yep. Cool. There you go. Everything happens live. Maybe we just give Rory a quick call and see how far off he is as well, so we can let this lady know. Swan grinder. Okay, back there. We are back. So I'm live on YouTube here.
So actually, Nicholas has jumped back on there.
Yeah.
He said, honestly, it's brilliant and the quality of the grind and consistency is incredible.
Yes.
But the thing is, if you're using the auto grind feature and the handle gets a little espresso on the handle, it can't make the connection to tell it to grind. Also, the silicone wipers seem to be seem to be questionable choice instead of like a hard plastic. And the chute loves to collect coffee on one side too, but these are just little things that add up to frustration.
Oh, okay. Yep. Okay, so there is still some cleaning challenges that you're basically working out there. Okay. All right. So, yeah, I think the grind quality is fantastic. I think that's definitely something that is surpassing other grinders at the moment. As for those little issues, I haven't had a chance to get that far into it. We've heard some little things about those things, but any high-end grinder that we have, like Mythoses and even E80s, things like that, all of them need more cleaning. There's no doubt about it. So I guess we're going to get better at those things. I'm sure they're reviewing all of those little sweepers that are in there and whether they're going to hopefully be cleaner and better. That will essentially, only get better. But it's the first version, and I think from a redesign or total redesign of a grinder, that is a very big positive outcome for sure.
6 amps outside said, hey guys, do you still use the Mazda ZM?
Yes, we do. Yep, got it behind us, right here. Yeah, we think that's our best at the moment, single dose grinder. The measurement between the burr sets seems to be pretty accurate. The quality's great. Across the board, we're really happy with it all. We used to use the EKs a lot, but baristas didn't know how to use them, respectfully, and they were just busting burrs constantly. So you've got a burr set that would, Dane?
He'll be back in 1 second.
Easy, nice latte. Yeah, baristas were just jamming the burrs together all the time and not getting it quite right. And for a burr set that could do a ton and a half of coffee, because it's single dosing and we're only using them every so often, they might have done like 150 kilos of coffee and they're absolutely hammered. And at $900 a set of burrs, it becomes a very expensive exercise to keep swapping them out that often. So yeah, we went away from the EKs. ZM seems to be good. Got to clean them like anything else. Dane, yeah, mate, iced latte. Have a great day, mate. So yeah, pretty happy with them.
Got a question from, it's a latte art question, I guess.
Yeah.
How much does tilting the cup during the pour help?
Oh, 100%. If you're not tilting the cup, you're out of it. That's one of the core things you need to do. You want to get into that cup as deep as you can, as early as you can, and ensure that you're getting the foam to come out, because otherwise you're not going to get that foam into the cup by holding it up and flat. So you need to tilt the cup for sure. Correct your canvas, which is getting the foam in and under it early. So a very deep, high cup can be quite tricky to pour through. So I'm pouring into it now. And keep it tilted as long as you can, then straighten up and finish it all. Yow, I got hot there.
Sorry.
Ooh, I've got hot water on me. Oh, from the drip tray.
Drip from
Burn me, yeah. So yes, tilting is definitely a key there. All right, latte with 2 sugars for Hiroto. Cheers.
I've got a pricing question for you, Luke.
Yeah.
How are you handling the sudden price skyrocket from Brazil?
How are we handling it? As delicate as we can. Look, it's going up, that's for sure. We bought some coffee, pretty expensive, over the $4 mark. With the economic challenges over the last sort of fortnight, the price of green did come down, but so did the Aussie dollar. So it made it not much better for us at all in terms of securing coffee. We bought some coffee at about $3.60 when our Aussie dollar was only at 62 cents. So it didn't really help us, but now it went up to $4.10 again. So I think if I did the maths, we are ahead on those ones. Meiko? Cheers, thank you, enjoy.
See you here, Toe. See you, Michael. Good to see you too.
So yeah, the industry is up for it. You know, we are fully aware that the costs are going up. Cups of coffee need to go up. Bean prices are going to go up. Unfortunately, there is no way an industry can have a 100% increase on bean costs at a raw product and not have everything change. So yeah, we're just being honest and open about it in terms of our communication with our cafe partners and also our home users. Yeah, definitely. We're going to have to make some changes and just reassess our prices. At the moment, we've got just a little bit of green still that we've had from the last contracts. So the more that we have that evening out as a lower price and the higher prices, we can push it out as long as we can. But I think around June and July, we're definitely 100% on all the new pricing, which is, yeah, it's up there. There's no doubt about it.
You got Patrick says hello from Pittsburgh, USA.
Hey, Patrick.
Paul Mullock says, g'day, I really wish I could drive all the way out from Melbourne to explore your cafe and drink your coffee.
Brilliant, thanks, mate. Yeah, thanks, Paul. Leon? Cheers, Leon. Have a great day, mate.
He says, your channel has been so informative, I can't help but geek out on your channel all the time. Thanks so much for sharing your knowledge with us. Much appreciated.
No worries. Thank you. Pleasure. Absolutely love it.
We got Forex from Uganda wanting a job.
Yep, Skin Flatty. G'day, Forex.
Back to Nicholas.
Yes.
with the Swan grinder.
Swan
this
grinder,
is
yep.
even this is even with a run through with grinds every Sunday too. It's exciting to see the innovation too with the grind by weight kit LM have announced for it.
Yep.
Hopefully they can get these talking to the machines like the sync system.
Yeah, that's the plan. And essentially they, yeah, getting it in the sync would be the key part. The scale, I'm assuming the scale can fit in there, the Marzocco Swan scale. These are all just new things, again, we're trying to get our head around right at this moment. So we'll continue to communicate that to everybody. We were supposed to get this grinder a year ago, and when we did all the other, Joanne. Thanks, Joanne.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
You too.
So yeah.
When we did all in the mini Micra things last September, we were supposed to get a Swan, but just so many things happened and they couldn't supply us one. So yeah, we really just got it now to have a play with it and start to research it. So yeah, we have it on the bar here. We're gonna get a ABR PB will be coming on the bar here as well, and we're also got the Wally. So we'll have the full Marzocco kit here to help people understand what that all looks like to be a cafe that has, you know, a grinder, a machine, and a milk system from one particular company. So that's pretty cool. Not many manufacturers can do that. I don't know if there is any manufacturer that does every part of that as a whole system. So that's something I'm really keen to explore and understand, you know, the commonalities and how things work. So yeah, it's exciting.
Russell says, Russell Hasaka said, I plugged one hole of my steam wand, like
Yes.
you suggested in your video.
Yes.
And that really improved the milk foam.
Yes.
I'm still having problems with my initial pour of latte art, or of my latte art. Any tips?
Okay. Any tips on that? Yeah. Well, let's just see. Is it making a blob? Is it all going white? Is it? I need to know what the issue is. So clarify that for me. Are you making a blob? Are you finding that you're not able to pour a pattern or control what's happening? So if you give me that question, Ryan will keep give you that answer. Ryan will keep out for it, and we'll get that one for you as well. But let's just have a quick look at the Swan here. So basically, what it's doing is this section here, you know, pointing out that if you had water on this, essentially it wouldn't work. Well, what's happening is this is a switch. So if you pull this out, there we go. There's just two springs here, and essentially you can see it's cut all the way. So there is an electronic current running through two little screws here, and as you put the handle in, it activates these parts by joining it with metal, and essentially it turns the grinder on. Super durable, like there's nothing that's going to break there. A lot of other grinders have like a button or a proximity sensor that has to measure whether it's going to work or not. But you said liquid on here might not make it work. Well, sure, but your handle should be clean and dry and hot. It shouldn't have any moisture on it before it goes in there. So using a cloth to do that would fix that straight away. So essentially that will activate as soon as it goes on. I've just got that on the D1 setting here. I'm actually going to go to D2. It's 13.5 revolutions. And I believe this is set at 200 RPM because you can change the speed of this grinder between 100, 150 or 200 RPM. Now that speed is going to change the flavour as well of beans, but let's just show you what's coming out here right now. So it's coming down the chute. There is a big ring that's turning there to deionize or ionize that coffee or declump it essentially. And if you have a look at it, it is the lightest, fluffiest grind around. You'll see in the video, I start doing a 22.5 gram dose, and the thing is just nearly overfilling this basket. So it's not sticking together, it's not clumping, which means the water flows through so perfectly. So with some very little work from here in terms of distributing and tamping, you know, that's a very low packed basket. So I want to play with it a little bit more now and see if we can get a better shot, but let's just have a look. All right, so it does come out quite fast there. So usually the first part of your shot is dependent on your grind size. The end of your shot is the dose that you have in your basket. So you'll see now it's speeding up very rapidly. It was a very underdosed basket, and we knew that. So essentially that coffee just expanded right up and allowed it to go quite fast. And you'll see the paleness on the top of there. Okay, so I would look to really change that grind a lot finer. Oh no, that's what I was at. Sorry, trying to brew away at the same time here. We've got a flat white skinny coming up right now. We'll get that shot in a sec. So I want to slow it down. It came out too fast at the start. The time on that shot was 21 seconds. So we need to make some big adjustments. And this is really where we've got by playing with this grinder. We start to think, well, is the dose need to change?
Hopper needs filling.
The hopper needs filling. We can fix that. The hoppers are cool. Oh, you don't flick it all the way off normally. Normally it just stops. But yeah, anyway, it opens up like that nicely. There you go. You don't lose them. I'm just going to grab a cup from here because I know the age of this coffee is working really well. Put that into there. That's pretty snazzy. So I want to change the grind on it. Now there's a grind dial on both sides. Did you get a hold of Rory? Stuck up there, is he? Yep. Okay. So you want to go finer. On the top here, it just says 35 is large, 0 is small. So we're definitely going to head towards a bit finer. And I reckon I need to go a good amount. Now, there's no chute, there's nothing there. So it should be a direct grind change straight away by popping that in. Let's swap the mark. This is on the high speed. There we go. So again, it's a very high dosed basket. I'm not doing weighing the dose just yet. I just want to start to work on the grind because I know that we are still very underdosed on this basket. Let's see if we can get it to slow down at the start a little bit. It did. That was definitely a lot slower. It came through quite fast, then it came into that little mouse tail that we sometimes refer to. So how can you fix that? You can actually do a pre-infusion. You could do a little bit of water, expand that coffee, and then push the water through. So there's lots of little different things we can do to play. But if we have a look at these two shots, straight up that came out at, where are we? 22 seconds, so it's a fraction longer, but it's a lot richer. There's a lot more dark sweetness flavour coming out of there. This has expanded a huge amount of coffee, all right, a very long way, but it's also, see the whole puck just move? That is a floating puck. So at the end of a shot, essentially the water is going around that coffee and running fast, so it's under processing it. So we definitely need to look to stop that puck from lifting. So we definitely want to increase the dose. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go finer again, and I'm going to increase the dose. All right, so I'm back up to 14.5, so basically increased that a whole revolution of the burst set. We're still using the high speed here, 200 RPM at the moment. One thing that you can do, because it is such a durable rest, is you can just give it a little bit of a collapse like that, which is really handy. It won't damage it, it's not a scale, it's not going to break. We'll give that a distribute. So this one I've gone finer and I've increased the dose. So hopefully we're going to be slowing down the start of the extraction by having a finer grind, which we have. That was heaps better. You might have missed that one, but anyway, it was really rich, really dark, and it took a bit longer to come through at the start. And then hopefully it doesn't speed up and go fast with that puck floating. We're already at 22 seconds, so we've already increased the amount of time this extraction is happening. We're not changing the water there. All right, so we're 26 seconds. So we've already, look at that, so much more sweetness coming through in those darker points. There's a lot more paleness there, which is the bitterness coming through, so over-extracting a lot earlier. So there you go, there is 3 different extractions heading towards getting a better recipe. Now let's have a quick look here on the puck, a little bit of water, but it has expanded a lot again, and I reckon it might float a bit. Yep, see that? The whole puck is floating up, which is the tail end of it. So you'd either look to reduce your basket size or look to increase your dose in this handle, which can be a bit tricky because of the space, because of that fluffy grind. So let's do it, increase the dose.
What was your name? Brian.
Oh. Those two at the same time. Now we're going to just check what the dose is. Give that a tear off. Cool. And we'll get that dose.
Black with 1,000 calories.
Didn't change the grind, just increasing the dose. So maybe partway through, with a bit of a wiggle, and then it fits in. We'll check out the weight. Oh, that's crazy. Something's going wrong. Let's go. Hang on. Oh, it's on the green dot. Hang on.
No.
Okay, let's just ditch that.
Just off the top there. Beauty. Thank you. One long. Be back in a second. No worries.
That should. 11.8. There we go. Okay. Okay. Oh, why is it doing that? 0.825.
Kilograms, or are you talking ounces?
I know, that's going crazy. I'm trying to get the point. There you go. Now it's working. Crazy. Anyway, that's 23.2 grams of coffee, according to that. But I don't want to be using a dosing cup. I want to keep the grind as it is coming out of that grinder. Okay, 23.2 grams. All right, so that's a lot of coffee in this basket. Give it a bit of a collapse. We'll do our NCD. Give that a bit of a tamp. All right, so we're going to watch the start of this shot. We normally want our shots to drop at about 6 seconds. So it's already at 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, there you go, and it's starting to drop. So the grind has really fixed that. This is a thick, syrupy kind of shot. Obviously there's a lot of coffee in there as well. Probably the max you'd want to push a shot where it's dripping that much as well. But is this what we'd be looking for in our extractions? Maybe. How much are we actually going to end up with? We're at 38 seconds. It's a very long shot. So for the same amount of water passing through the coffee, there we go, we've gone out to 46 seconds. We only got a fraction of over-extraction with this pail coming through. Huge amount of sweetness in that. So it's a very different shot. A lot of crema, seems to have a good volume with it. Now, is that good or is that bad? I don't know. That's something we need to taste. Because when you're playing with a grinder, taste is the key. Let me get a spoon.
Sure, look at that puck too, Lee.
Yeah, let's have a look at that puck. All right, so a little bit of water in it. Okay, definitely no holes, which is fantastic. There is a slight point where it has lifted as well. Now that can happen when a solenoid actually closes and it creates a vacuum and sucks up a puck. But ideally, if you put a puck screen in there, it wouldn't do that at all. Give me 1 sec. You ordered, mate? No, how can we get for you?
You want to interrupt the production?
Nah, all good.
Have 3 coffees, please. Have 1 flat white.
Yep.
Or big one.
That side, yep.
1 skinny lactose-free mocha, sorry.
Yep, like those three.
Mocha
Yep.
with half sugar.
Right, easy. There we go. Give me one of those. There. They've changed our till on us again. Good old Shopify. Like, I don't know, a couple of times a month walk in, the whole thing looks different.
Yeah.
It's very, very interesting.
Got a couple of programs to do that.
Yeah,
Change things just to keep it interesting.
that's it. 1 lactose free, and then, oh yeah, cool. All right, so we're $14 with a freebie there today.
Thank you very much.
On the top there when you're ready. Cool. Okay, so if I was to taste some coffee, let's do this. Just gonna be me. So we've got our first shot here. Just gonna stir these up a little bit. Get the sweetness from the bottom of that espresso all the way up into the cup. Bit rustic using a teaspoon here rather than a cupping spoon. Oh wow, okay. Oh. All right, it's pretty much what I would expect. When I start here, it was a bit thin, a little bit watery. As we kept going on, we definitely got a lot more sweetness in that cup. A huge range of flavors. This one is actually really good. There was actually a weird cherry taste that actually came through, which I was very surprised. I was like, wow, that's great. The acidity is definitely changing and the body is definitely changing as well. When we get to the last one, it was great to see it was a really thick started extraction. But unfortunately, there is a lot of over extraction that's happened in that cup. It actually went the other way. There is a little bit of bitterness coming through. Even though there was that thick syrupiness at the start, which would give us a good viscosity, it's become a little bit tart, but a bit too much really. So again, it was a 23.2 gram dose. It was absolutely huge. So there's a lot of coffee, less water, almost like a ristretto, but maybe pushing a little bit too far in that one. So what's right, what's wrong? Well, this is the part that we're trying to work out with a Swan grinder. When we roast our coffee, we are roasting on our IMF, and we've always used our control of a Marzocco machine as the core. And we've used the Anthem grinders obviously as well. Let me just grab this customer's order. Hey mate, how you going?
Thanks. Get a medium cap with 2, thanks, mate.
Yeah, spot on. What's your name, mate?
Simon.
Thanks, Simon. Brilliant. $6. Oh, I insert it there, yeah, for sure. That is the espresso back. Can you hold for just 1 sec? Thanks. I'm just run that up to Bree for us.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you. That one's back to you.
Good on you. Thank you very
Cheers, mate. Alrighty. Come on, Ben. What do you got? Nice, mate. Nice. Well done. Well done. Well done.
Getting better.
All right, getting better, getting better. So yeah, again, coming back to the Swan grinder, what is it that you actually want to achieve? So we've got a control that we roast to and a flavour profile from an Anthem grinder and a Marzocco machine. If we start to put in other grinders, do we start to chase a different flavour based off what we're experiencing? So we need to take some time and assess what a Swan grinder does compared to an Anthem in a Marzocco machine. Is it better? Is it the same? Are we wanting to make a change? Are we not? There's a lot of different things that we need to work out. And I think that's something you want to be considering when you change grinders and looking at a coffee supplier as well. What gear do you have? How do they roast? Do they use that as their core product range? So a lot of people come and see us and say, hey, we want to change to a different machine. You know, they might have one they particularly like. Honestly, the first thing we think is, well, our coffee hasn't been roasted or profiled for that machine. Can that machine actually make it taste how we do here in the bar and make it the best it possibly can be? So it's something to consider when you're looking at a bean for your cafe or even at home. Ask some questions. What do they profile their coffee from? What kind of equipment? And if you can match that or you like that, you might find the exact thing that the roaster is actually aiming to achieve in the cup. So that's a very deep dive into grinders and things like that. I think the Swan's going to be really interesting to keep playing with. No real assessments on do I like it or I don't just yet. I just know it's different, and I'm really enjoying playing like I just had there. You know, this is probably that's probably the first time I've played with, you know, the shots and really tried to dial it in, because we only got the grinder the other day, and we've had more a tech review and a play with it, but not to what we are trying to achieve or replicate here in the bar. So yeah, hope that helps you. Got any questions there, mate?
Yeah, there's lots of questions here.
Lots of questions. All
Okay,
right.
back to Russell, who was having trouble with his latte art.
Oh yes, yeah.
He said it tends to sink rather than forming a heart or the bottom of a tulip. So I don't think he's actually like.
Yeah, giving it a good nudge. So you've got to get that foam to come out quickly. So it's a real more positive push when you're pouring out. So maybe here we go. We've got a cup going here. Hello again, Ben.
Hello, everyone.
So we'll put that there. I'll get you to jump that in, and I'll pour these out, and we'll talk about pouring out some shots. Beautiful. All right, so what do we got? Cap. Yep, so it's a cap, 2 sugars.
Hello, how are you today?
Put your sugars in first, getting it all sweet across the top of the crema. Much better quality cup there. So you've got your foam. Make sure you've got foam. That's the key thing. If you don't have foam, you can't pour any latte out. So that's one of the problems a lot of people find. They get silky look on the top, but they actually don't have any foam to work with. Tilt your cup, pour in quite fast, and get that to go in and under that foam. Get around the canvas. If you need to, you can stop, and then pour fast. Okay, that's where it's sinking. Probably that point there. Okay, so if that's the case, I deliberately didn't get a good pour there, but I showed you what happened. You may need to actually let your milk settle just a little bit more so that it can go on the top. But also you can do that pour, then stop, and then start your pattern. So that's another little trick. There you go.
Thanks very much.
Simon, thanks mate. Have a good day.
Cheers, thank you.
All right. All right, maybe I grab Bree and get her to help in the bar. And I'll quickly answer a few questions, and then we'll go from there, right?
Do you want me to go grab her?
Yeah, she's coming up now. Here we go.
How can I help you today?
While you're there, Luke,
Yes.
what kind of beans do you use?
So we use our main blend here, the Champion, which is what most of our cafe partners use. That is a mix of Ethiopian, Colombia, Guatemalan, PNG, and Ethiopian, PNG, Guatemalan, Colombia, and a smidge of Brazil. All right, are you all right to do some shots? All right, great. Maybe I can sit there. We can still see what's going on behind us. Keep it a little bit interesting. Sorry, questions. Sorry. Yeah, I answered what's in the Brazil in the
Yeah, cool.
blend, I should say.
Patrick says, I follow the program dial on the Breville Barista Touch Impress. Now when I make espresso, it only takes 14 to 16 seconds. Do I need to find a way to make it longer, or could this be correct?
14 seconds of extraction time.
Must be, yeah, 14 to 16 seconds.
Yeah, I mean that's, unless it's a very small basket and a very small dose, that is a very short time. So you need to go finer to get a much better grind there. Now that's the key thing. A lot of people, we're already getting some feedback about how people are enjoying our coffee overseas, and they're saying, you know, I got one the other day. It's bitter, and I'm like, oh, how's it bitter? I've got to have 2 sugars. But upon a little bit more investigation, people aren't changing their grind. Now we deal with this a lot in Australia, but we do a lot of education here as well, and perhaps for the home user, we need to create some different content for different markets, and that's something we really want to work out. But essentially, there is a guide of dose, the yield, and the time that you have to make an extraction. So if time is coming out very quickly, like you're running your button on your machine and the shot's running really fast and it's very short, you have to go finer on your grind. You can't be having you can't be having a fast time and get quality of coffee. It's under extracting coffee, so you definitely need to increase that that amount of time by going finer on your grind. So definitely, that's the first tip for most people.
Grab a seat there.
Grab a seat here. All right, cool, cool, cool.
How's that?
It's good, it's good, it's good, it's good. Yeah. What do we got?
Okay, quick question. What is the ratio of espresso shot to hot water? Do you prefer serving at your cafe? Is it a 1 to 2, 1 part full, short, and 2 parts water? And does this ratio change with the size of the coffee ordered by the customer?
Oh, okay, no. So standard recipes is very, very set. So in our normal basket with all of our blends, we get a 22.5 gram dose, a normal, which is what you might call a double shot, which is a 2 to 1 ratio. So 2 parts water, 1 part coffee. That's where we're finishing. And when I was looking in the video earlier there, showing you those different extractions and that paleness coming through, that I didn't change the water in the machine. The water was always set to give us that amount of volume. So they'll all be pretty close on those shots. We can weigh them specifically if we need to, but the only difference we'd find as we change those grinds or the doses, how much water is being absorbed into that coffee bed. So that's a double shot. A 1 to 1 is exactly the parts of coffee in the dose or in the basket. We only put the exact amount of water through there. And that is measured by what ends up in the cup, which is a 1 to 1. So we don't change that too much.
Actually, I've just looked further down in the comments. He actually said, I meant in the case of long blacks.
In the case of long blacks. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, we change that a lot. Okay, so our standard long black is this cup here. You know, we can do this as a double ristretto or a double shot. So again, you're just going to allow for that amount of volume in here. But usually about 150 grams. This is, I think, 190 ml cup. So that allows you enough volume. But as you start to go to a mug or a 16 ounce, let's say, in a takeaway, we'll do ideally a double ristretto in this on that same recipe, so 1 to 1. And when we go to a 12 ounce, we'll go a 2 to 1 in a 12 ounce cup, which is how many mils of hot water? I don't know. Anyway, less the amount, about to fit in there in ounces, sorry. Let's maybe call it 11 ounces or 12 ounces of liquid. I've got to work on those understandings a bit better. But then when we go to a 16 ounce, then we add a third shot in there for sure. So we'll split a normal, a 2 to 1, and pop that in. Now, in the case of long blacks, I personally will not throw that other half out. I will put that into that cup. So technically it's 2 double shots. Now, I know that's probably not what we've got in our guide, but I just think, hey, I don't want to tip this down the sink. I don't want to have it wasted. The person loves coffee, loves espresso, and just loves tasting the black with the espresso with a bit of water through it. And that's me. So I usually sneak that one in there personally. So yeah.
Cool. Nicholas Taylor, who was chatting to us about the Swan earlier on, said, from a roaster's perspective, how are you feeling about co-ferments or mad processing methods? Are these a trend you would chase as a roaster or stick to your style of coffees?
Yeah, for sure. We've been really thrown into that area a lot. So if you look into Jim's video last week on YouTube, covering about his competitions and things, he's really into that space. They love the co-ferments. In the baristering contest, that is where it sits. You know, people like Sasha Sestic, previous champions, are really playing with this whole change in coffee. And I think it's great. I think it's awesome to be pushing the boundaries. For me personally, I think sometimes you just get a bit too far down the track and coffee doesn't start to taste like coffee. And it can be pretty funky and weird. And I personally can drink that coffee for, you know, maybe a week if we're going down to a trade show and we taste all these beautiful funky coffees, but then I kind of come back to is what I just want to enjoy every single day. And it's good, clean coffee. Something like a Colombian, just, you know, well balanced, good sweetness, good acidity, and a smooth flavour. So we're not chasing it as such in terms of what our cafe partners use. To me, though, co-fermenteds don't work that well with milk. So we don't do that. We keep our blends pretty clean, washed coffees, and have a nice chocolatey, smooth style coffee in milk. In the blacks, yes, our single origins of the month, we'll play with some funky stuff, but definitely it's still a small part of our business. So yeah, that's what I said.
Cool. Our friend in Uganda said it's 1:30 a.m. here, but the moment I get a notification from YouTube that my role model is live, I had to escape my bed to get more knowledge from you.
Awesome. Well,
sir, my dream is to serve.
well,
He wants to come and work here, Luke.
sorry to wake you up. Yeah, look, we're just at a stage where we need to grow a lot. We've definitely had some great growth in the business. We need to move. We are really struggling to find a place to move and find a new home. And I think once we can do that, we can look to, I don't know, explore looking at employing people from overseas. It's just not something that's easy for us here, and I guess we don't have the opportunities at the moment. But you know, some remote opportunities we're definitely looking at in call centres and support, things like that. But really seeing how good our opportunity is in the US and Canada, and then obviously UK and and heading to New Zealand as well. So if the overseas markets do really well, we will look to have people overseas. That's something that we're looking. We're in early investigations to see, hey, is there a possibility of having someone that could be dispatching from the US for us? So yeah, we're ever evolving, always growing, looking to see what we can do. There's one there about a pipper, I think.
Sorry?
There's a lot of questions actually, but there's one about a pipper I did, yeah.
Yeah,
You're
I was
working
just
through 'em.
about to.
Oh wow, let's just nail through some questions. There's a lot
pop-up.
there.
Okay, so a while back you did a video on the quick mill pop-up.
Yes.
After steam, the machine is in cool down. My next pull is about 12 seconds before I get water. What's the suggestion?
So you.
So he's obviously made a shot, like run a shot.
Yep.
Then the next extraction takes like 12 seconds before he gets water. I'm not sure.
Yeah, okay, interesting. If you go extraction on a pop-up, that's the way you do it, then you'd go across to then be making milk because there's a single boiler machine. If you go from extraction to steam and then you've got to go back to do another extraction, that is going to take a little bit of time. So I'd recommend you doing all of your shots on a single boiler first. So let's say 2 shots. That bleeds your boiler, which is great. And then you can get straight into frothing a lot quicker and then pour out your 2 cups. If you're trying to go from extraction to steam and then go back, yes, there's a long time that happens there. That's about all I can give you, I think.
Yep.
Yep.
We've got our friend Terence F88.
Hey, Terence, how you going?
Saying hi.
Thanks for coming back. Good to see you again.
Sorry, pre-charge. So that's back to the pop-up.
Yep.
Pre-charge until I get water before I place to portafilter. Pre-charge.
Pre-charge.
Not sure. Anyway.
Don't even remember pre-charge. I mean, you got a flush just to run some water through into the head, but it's pretty much straight there. It's just a boiler. It's opening up. The water comes straight on. Not sure what's happening there.
Okay. Do you think automated espresso machines can streamline efficiency without hurting quality?
Oh, actually, sorry. One thing with the pop-up. Reduce the, there's a pre-infusion, long pre-infusion. Have a look at that to check your pre-infusion setting. What was the question, sorry?
So the question is,
yes.
Do you think automated espresso machines can streamline efficiency without hurting quality?
Not at the moment. There's a huge trade-off for automation that happens every single day. Yeah, we don't want to be. Yeah, automation is hard. It's definitely not fast. It's definitely less coffee, but it's easy. So that happens. But in terms of trying to replicate barista quality, that's a problem because we want to put harder coffee pressure on a puck, then trying to get that out and clean it doesn't seem to be as easy in automated machines. What does work really well is when you have a robot arm. So if you see robot arm coffee, that should be identical, if not comparable, to a barista. So I think that's the future.
Okay, is it true that double ristretto for milk-based doesn't go well with light roast coffee?
I'm not a big fan of light roast coffee in milk, in all honesty, because you've got a much higher acidity and it doesn't tend to work that well. But yeah, a double ristretto is definitely going to have a bit more acidity, more sweetness to it, but it's not enough to cut through the milk. So it can be quite light and milky tasting, definitely.
So Nicholas jumped in on that automation. Said, following up on the above, I really do feel like in an industry struggling to find and retain skilled baristas, the automation, when picked correctly, is absolutely key and can do our jobs better and quicker. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. There's elements of it that are going to help. Automatic steaming is going to be great. The shot extraction is probably where there's some challenges, I think. More around emptying of pucks, cleaning of pucks, and dialing in. The Everseas do that really well. So I know they're playing a big part in a lot of businesses, and I think that's probably the brand that's pushing the envelope as much as it can, for sure. Automation's going to be our future. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. He said we have run an Uber Milk and ABR strata, and these little variables we can eliminate, the better.
Yeah, definitely. The Uber Milk's definitely a key player in that market for sure. Froth product. I think there's a lot of improvements to be made there. If you take an Uber Milk frothed milk and then go to a barista frothed milk and do them blindly and taste them side by side, I'd be interested to see the test, but I personally would always be able to pick the frothed by a barista because of the additional water and the steam that actually gets added to the milk, and it has a different flavour to an Uber Milk. But if you're starting out in the business and you start with an uber milk, people won't know those differences. But if you're going to transition or sometimes froth, sometimes do uber milk, just maybe be wary of that taste difference, because people might think, oh, your coffee's too variable, and they'll say it's the automated product when it might actually be the barista not being able to froth well. So you just got to pick a standard and stick to that. That will help you be better in automation, for sure.
The Loving Heapful says hello from Cape Town.
Hey, how you going? From Cape Town.
Back to the pop-up.
Yep.
Says, yes, pre-infusion, thank you.
No worries. Yeah, it's usually quite a long pre-infusion, I think, in the original setting on that one. Yeah. 12 seconds, that's what it is. Yeah, there you go. Gotcha.
And we are at the bottom of the comments, and that's been about an hour. So
Bottom of the comments, that's an hour. All right, well, let's wrap it up. Quick summary. Hey, I didn't get a chance to really recap on anything there. But anyway, look, what we've got going on, as I said quickly, you can order coffee from our website, artisticoffee.com. Essentially, that's our US site. We've got 12-pound bags, 12-ounce, 2-pound bags, 12-ounce bags, and some merch on our store ready to go. So we're going to keep adding and looking at that. Look, we're taking it easy. We're going to let you guys know that you can do that. We thank those who have already ordered from us. Really appreciate the feedback. We're also very thankful for those people that filled out the survey. We've got a great response there, so thank you. As I said, we're not looking in the cheap coffee market. It's not really who we are. So we're not going to be as price competitive, but the quality of our coffee will stand out. And we know you're going to enjoy it. And the key thing is we've got that support. There's so many videos out there. How many are you up to now, Ryan? How many videos have we got? 600 or something?
No, I don't know. There's a lot of videos on there.
There's so many videos there. And a lot of people ask these questions. So I urge you just to jump onto YouTube and do a search on our channel. And no doubt, sometimes we're replicating topics twice now because things get updated. But there's so much content there to help you. And that will actually answer a lot of the questions. Yeah, jump on, order some coffee, and we'll start to promote that to the wider areas. But we need to hit some goals and targets at some point to be able to recoup the investments that we're doing into the US. But yeah, we're loving the fact that we can support you with great content and great advice with a great quality product, because if we're trying to answer questions around other beans, it's very hard. We don't know if the quality's there, dark roast, light roast, robusta, light, all these different things. That's very hard for us to work with. But using our standard guide that we do have on our website, the manual book there, that essentially gives you a way to work with every type of coffee. So if you haven't yet, go and download that. It's pretty cheap, $39. The LM one, no, the standard one's there. We've got to update that as well. But that's a really good product to help you. So yeah.
Our friend Terence F88 said, I was busy making sausage rolls, so I missed most of this live stream.
Go back and watch it.
Yeah,
Go to
you
the
can go
start.
back and
Hey, if you
watch
just
it.
joined us, go back and have a look. We made a few coffees there at the start, touched on a few details there. Obviously a little bit of latte art tips as well.
Seems like Terence is always making sausage rolls. I really want to try one.
Yeah, mate, yeah.
I love a good sausage roll. And Nicholas Taylor, who jumped in there with a lot of questions on, or a lot of info on the Swan, as well as automation and things like that, said, awesome chatting to you guys, by the way. Watched for a while and learned a lot in my early days. Forever grateful of the content.
Thanks, Nicholas. Yeah, appreciate it. Look, it gives us the warm and fuzzies. Yeah, definitely at Mice, people were letting us know that, and that's what it's here for. You know, we're here to inspire baristas all around the world to make great coffee. So I'm glad we're doing a great job. So thank you. Thank you, everyone. We wouldn't be here today if you didn't watch and tune in, so I really appreciate it. Maybe share this channel with somebody that you can. Look, sharing it, you know, liking it, just watch our videos. Just if you don't get a chance, just hit them on, just let them run, let them go. That'd be great. Don't have to watch it, but get us a view. That helps us look to grow the channel a bit further as well.
That's great. Cool.
Thank you very much, everyone. Catch you next time. Enjoy a brew. Cheers. Bye.